Welcome. This is Sherry Bowers with Connected Spirit, um, our special hot spotlight series. And today I've got Carol Donaldson with me, and we're just going to have a wonderful little chat on the exciting work that she's doing with her clients. So, for those people that don't know who you are and don't know what you do, like share a little bit about how you got started and in the work you're doing now.
I'd be happy to, and thanks so much for this opportunity, Sherry. I greatly appreciate it. So to tell me a little, well, to tell you all a little bit about myself, my name is Coach Carol Maria. That's how I go by. I have been coaching for quite a number of years as a professional coach, over 6 years now, and I have been working with clients stemming from basically my experience in the corporate world. I had spent over 25 years in the corporate world as a project manager, program manager, demand manager, working in all different areas of all different size companies. I actually started out in the arena of startup companies, like an entrepreneurial startup company.
Mhm.
That's where I first got my legs into working as a project manager. I started out as a coder and then found out that I kept gravitating to helping people figure out what it is that they needed to do.
Right?
And there it just proceeded to get more and more involved in it. And I ended up working for larger companies. And one of the key things that I always liked doing, besides the program and the project management, was I just like working with other people. I often found myself, mentoring other people, coaching them without the official coaching title. And
Right.
it's just so enjoyable because you felt somebody, you could see somebody that they felt like there was somebody in their corner helping them
Yeah.
out, that they were helping them grow. And it was just such a great experience. So after a couple of decades in that world, I kind of decided, I don't know if I want to stay here. The company that I was working for was going through some major changes, and I decided, well, I'm going to branch out myself. I have that entrepreneurial thing that I want to do. I know that there's things that I can share with the world and things that I want to accomplish, but I wasn't 100% sure what that was. So
Yep.
it took me a little while to find that because when I first got done, you're like, okay, great. And then it's like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I tried a little of this, I tried a little of that, and it was just like nothing was really resonating with me. So I ended up hiring a coach. And in that process of, discovering myself, discovering what it is that I wanted to do, I discovered that I liked coaching.
Yeah.
So I decided to proceed and go after a coaching certification. And then from there, I went into another one. I'm a Gallup certified strengths coach. And I just, it's like, this is my passion. This is something that when I look at this, I'm like, it's just so wonderful to see transformation in other people.
Yeah.
So with that, I've also found myself starting to work with a lot of people in the corporate world, as well as entrepreneurs and leaders. Because entrepreneurs are leaders, let's face it, either
Yeah.
you're leading a team or you're leading something or leading your customers. And so I'm helping them understand what their unique strengths and talents are. I'm helping them, how do you utilize your strengths? And that comes from my coaching certification with the Strengths Finders. And then I also look at, what is it that you want? Where is it that you want to go? Where do you see that you're struggling? And from there, I've started working with people and I've started working with a lot of project managers, again, coming out of the corporate world, but also a lot of other people that are entrepreneurial and like, I just don't know what it is to go or to do, or, how do I present myself? How am I confident? And, that how do I manage other people? Because no matter whether you're, an entrepreneur or you are in a corporate world, you're working with other people
Yeah.
and you have stakeholders, and that might be somebody that you're working with. It might be a manager. It could be a client.
Yep.
And you've got to learn how to work with them, and you have to build your confidence, your presentation skills. How do you come across to others? And then how, on the flip side of that, how do you kind of set boundaries for yourself too?
Yeah.
because in the corporate world, and I don't know if you've ever worked in the corporate world, but you're often asked to do a lot more than you really technically have time for. And
Yep.
sometimes that extends out beyond, the normal time that you're at the job. And then how do you set those boundaries so that you have your personal time, you have the time that you've got to commit to your family and to yourself. So
Yeah.
it's also about helping them set boundaries, and really being so, overcoming what I call imposter syndrome. And that could cover a whole bunch of different things. But these are things that will help them, grow and become more confident and just become better and more satisfied. Even makes people that are in the corporate world more marketable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You know,
probably
there's
a
so
lot
many.
more than what you just asked for. How did I get
No,
started?
no, that's totally, it all fits, and yes, I spent many years, a fair number of years corporate. And for me, I think it was part of that traditional burnout, that made me like, now I want my own thing. But then you
Yeah.
get out there and you're doing your own thing and you're like, oh wow, there is a whole bunch of skills I need to learn that I you don't know as an employee. You don't
Mhm.
learn it most of the time, if you're in a traditional setting, if you're wanting to switch. So there's just, no matter where you are, there's always more to learn, right?
Yes. It's always on the job training, no matter
Yes,
what you're
yes,
doing. It's always
yes.
that.
A
The
little
key
bit
is
of
not to do it
initiation by
yourself.
fire, a little bit of
Yep. Throw into the deep end, all those euphemisms. Right. Exactly.
and I think that's where the power of having somebody in your corner that can kind of see the forest through the trees, or however that saying goes. Because I know for me, what I love about what I do with my work with clients is pretty much kind of what I always say I love seeing the light bulbs go off.
Mhm.
It just, to me, that's just the best. Um, so so at this point, like, you work with some corporate people, you work with entrepreneurs, mainly the leaders, right?
Mhm.
Um, any other groups that you tend to work more with? Or is it just, anybody that's really looking to
It's primarily the
really,
people that are
yeah.
established leaders or project managers, but I have this soft spot for people that are looking to get into the field of project management, and the field of entrepreneurship, because face it, entrepreneurs are project managers. But
Yep.
it's like, what do I do? How do I do this? What's the next step? Like, who's going to be out there to help me? So I do a little bit of mentoring, and I call it mentoring. It's not like the full coaching project, um, programs that I have, but
Hmm.
it's, you know,
There's
but
overlap.
there's a little overlap, right? Exactly. So, but I primarily work with people that are, in a role and they want to get better at what they're doing. They
Hmm.
want to have that unshakable confidence. They want to have those skills that are going to make them more marketable, that are going to have people go, whoa, this
I want to
person is
work with you. Yeah.
really good. Yeah, I want you either on my team or I want to work for you.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the best, greatest compliments that people can receive.
Yeah. For real. For real. So, tell us a little bit about the coaching, what, a little more specifics on what services you talked about. You offer coaching and then a little bit of the mentorship. Are there certain like specific packages that you have that people can get more information about, or
I,
how do you work with people, I guess?
customize things. So it's almost like a modular type of
Hmm.
customization because everybody's needs are a little bit different.
Yeah.
So when I start coaching, we really go into the strengths and the understanding of where you are, how you got here, where is it that you want to be? Because that's going to be the foundation for anything. Then
Yeah.
depending on that, they're saying, well, I'm trying to work with these people and they could be very, very difficult to work with. So I've got to work on my relationship skills. Or I have to be able to walk into a meeting being confident. So
Hmm.
the modules that we create or I create during the programs, is somewhat customizable to what their particular needs are. So if they're feeling like unsure or they're just not sure how to set boundaries, then what I do is I pull in those different modules. So over the course of a 3-month period, so it's 12 weeks,
Okay.
we focus on those particular areas that are needed so that when you start out and we've established where you are and where you want to be, what are those things that we need to accomplish? And then we plug those in. So by the time that we're done with that 12-week process, you've really made headway and are heading into um, your
The next
inherent,
level. Yeah.
yeah, the next level, and basically improving your leadership abilities.
That's so powerful.
Hmm.
So powerful. I know for, like for me, boundaries has always been a biggie. And just kind of a little side story that always makes me laugh. But I remember an employee working for an entrepreneur. When I got out of the corporate, I went to a small accounting firm, and up till that point, it had never like I had never seen somebody really draw a line in the sand and like I'm not taking it. This is my boundary. You've overstepped. And we had my boss had one particular client who was so difficult to deal with. Like just bully, just a big bully. And that they had been, client, employee, or client, they'd worked together for years, so they knew there was a certain level of understanding there. But I'll never forget the one day the man was just yelling at him and carrying on and just being abusive, and he just hung up he hung up on him. But I remember it clicked at that moment, was like, okay, there is such a thing as boundaries. And and there are better ways than others to execute those. And it was just like a really eye-opening thing. And I think that's, huge for a lot of people, is just realize, improving those skills of how do you deal with difficult people
Hmm.
and um in
Yeah.
a more graceful, like
Oh,
self-preserving way, right?
mhm.
Not meaning
Exactly.
it.
It's a good
Yeah.
way of putting it, a self-preserving way that, you don't want to burn your bridges, but you also don't, you want to be able to stand your ground, make your
Yeah.
argument, make your presentation. And that's when you find that people have more respect for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And granted, I'm
And,
not encouraging people to hang up on each other, but
right.
for me, it was just a huge learning moment at
Mm.
that point. I was like, wow, you can do
Yeah.
that?
Some of the most successful people that I have seen are the ones that can set boundaries. They're
Yeah.
hard workers. They'll put in the effort, they'll put in the effort plus,
Yeah.
but they're boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the gift that you've got available for people, because it's a juicy
Yes. Thank you.
one.
It's called Take the Leap, Steps to Becoming a Confident, Empowered Leader. It's a workbook. It's a very short workbook. It's something that can be done in a couple of hours. It's something that I recommend people like take a little bit of time for yourself, like get away from everything else and really kind of look at it. There's information in there that, you know, questions, because it is a workbook. Like, how do I, what is it that I'm encountering right now? And where is it that I want to be? And how do I want to thrive? And what does thriving look like for me? And then there are certain steps in there to say, okay, now that you've defined that, let's take the leap and start putting in what are the things that I need to do to go ahead and improve where I'm at right now. So it's kind of like that initial step into the coaching world. It's all self-guided, but it gives you some really good tips and ideas to utilize,
Hmm.
bring you up to that next level.
Awesome. So anybody that's interested in that, this is a wonderful chance to take Carol up on some of these tools to get started with. The link to get this gift for free is going to be below the video, so just go click it. You need to get it. It's worth it. You owe it to yourself and all of that good stuff. Um, and what's the best way if somebody wants to reach out to you um, to have a conversation or learn more about what you have to offer? What's the best way for them to do that?
So you can email me at support@pmcoachingservices.com, PM for project manager,
Okay.
coachingservices.com. There's also, if you go to my website and you would like to just do a little investigative, 20-minute session just to kind of find out a little bit about the coaching programs, how coaching can benefit you, and would I be the right coach for you? We take about 20 minutes to go through and do that. And there's a way on my website that you can sign up for that. And then we just step through and see where it takes us.
Sounds wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for spending the time with me today and sharing a little bit about what you do. It's there's having a coach, in my experience, has always been just a huge way to kind of speed up and wade through a lot of the struggles that just slow you down. And so I encourage everybody that's watching to just take a moment, get her free gift, go through it, and reach out. Got nothing to lose, right?
No, I mean it's all for you. So,
Yeah,
definitely, you know, help you grow.
awesome.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you, Sherry.
Perfect. Thanks so much, and we'll see you all in the next spotlight.